These days, more and more people are using uncoupling membranes to install as a backup for their tile. Uncoupling membranes have benefits that cement boards don't have, so people are coming around and they're starting to install it. They're actually easier to install, quicker, less dust, much lighter, so they've become much more popular. Although a lot of people still install backer boards like Durock or Hardy backer board or Utilicrete or what have you, membranes are becoming very popular.
Okay, so like any other membrane, you don't want to butt it tight to the wall. You always want to leave a little bit of a gap. So I'm actually going to cut this out so I'm not right on that plywood seam.
So in this video I'm going to go through all the things you need to know to install an uncoupling membrane successfully and not run into trouble and have your floor fail down the road. Leave me a like, subscribe if you've not already subscribed, and leave a comment. Make sure you share this video as well. I have been in the industry over 40 years, installing for over 40 years. The information I give you is consistent with industry standards. I'm not guessing at it. I've been doing it a very, very long time, and I've attended many, many trainings, trade shows, and all that kind of stuff. So I do know what I'm talking about. Please like this video. Really appreciate it.
Okay, so I got it all cut in over here. I don't like to have, the seam of the uncoupling membrane fall on the seam of the plywood. So, I just cut that back like that so I can overlap that. So I like to cut everything in, so that way I'm not working with thin set and then trying to cut membrane in and then cut more, do more thin set. In the meantime, the thin set's drying in the bucket and firming up. You don't have so much pot life in a bucket of thin set. This way, you're just doing one operation at a time. If you like to do it the other way, that's perfectly fine. This is how I like to do it. Just cut it all in, mix my thin set, and then put it all down at once. Okay, so this is the recommended trowel, an 1/8 inch square notch. There's also a V-notch trowel you can use. I don't remember what the size of that is exactly. You don't want to use a bigger trowel because then you're going to get humps of thin set under the mat. You want to use a correct size trowel so you get a good bond to the plywood, but you don't get the thin set piling up as you smooth it down. You want it to bond, but you want a very thin layer of thin set underneath. Otherwise, you're going to end up having humps and bumps on the mat.
If you're going to install anything tile related to a plywood subfloor, you have to use the correct mortar. Now a lot of people get confused, modified, unmodified, and that's understandable. The easiest way to see if a mortar, a thin set mortar, is suitable for a plywood subfloor is to look at the ANSI standard. Now there are 3 types of modified mortar. 2 of them are perfectly fine for plywood. One is good, the other one is even better, but there's one kind of modified mortar that is not suitable for plywood. So you got to make sure you get the right one. I have several videos that go into great detail about what kinds of mortars to use and where to use them and how they work. So I'll link to that in one of the cards or on the end screens, and you can check that out to get exactly what you need to pick out the right mortar for your tile installation project. So it's not enough to just get the correct mortar. When you mix the mortar, you have to mix it according to directions. Now, a lot of these mortars on the directions these days have two ratios. One's for installing tile and the other one's for installing membranes. Make sure you follow those ratios, because the consistency of the mortar for installing membranes is looser than that for installing tile. But at the same time, you don't want to add too much water that the mortar will not hold the shape of the notch of the trowel, and you don't want to weaken the properties of the thin set so that it doesn't adhere the membrane or the tile to the substrate the way it's supposed to. So make sure you mix the mortar according to manufacturer's directions. This is very important. Measure your water, mix it for the time that it says on the bag, remix if you have to. Some waters you have to let slake and then you remix it. Others you can just mix it once and then you're ready to go. So make sure you follow directions of the manufacturer. The installation of the membrane itself is pretty simple. You spread the mortar, lay out your membrane, then push the membrane into the mortar using a trowel or a wooden float or something, and that's basically it. And then you always want to make sure that you check your coverage afterwards.
Okay, so you want to get all the air out, and this is what you want to see. Perfect transfer. Very simple. This is not a waterproofing membrane, so you don't have to worry about putting a hole in it, because we're not waterproofing. You're just going to get all the air out.
Okay, so we talked about the mortar and making sure that you get the right type of mortar. The thing about mortar is it needs moisture and the amount of water that you mixed into it for the chemical reaction to happen. The water is consumed by the thin set, it grows crystals, and then it penetrates into the substrate, and it also penetrates into your tile or your membrane or whatever you're installing. So you want to make sure that the moisture in that thin set is not prematurely drawn away by a very porous substrate. For example, plywood is very porous. Concrete is very porous. For a porous substrate, you want to make sure that you give the mortar a chance to cure properly. So how do you do that? The best way to do that is to give your substrate a drink. You use a sponge and you dampen the subfloor. So there's a term in the industry, and it goes something like surface saturated dry. What that means is you want the substrate to be damp, you don't want any standing water, but you want it to have enough moisture so that it doesn't draw moisture out of the mortar. Another important element applying your thin set to the substrate is to make sure that you key the mortar into the substrate. What does that mean? Well, as you saw me do earlier in the video, you use the flat side of the trowel and you push the mortar into the substrate. You're not trying to spread the mortar, you're just trying to get the mortar to go into the pores of the substrate. Once you've done that, you flip your trowel over, you use the notch side of the trowel. You're going to use directional troweling. What that means is the ridges of the trowel lines will all go in one direction. Preferably, whenever possible, the short way of whatever you're installing. If you've got a long plank tile, then you're going to go the short way. If you've got a length of membrane, you're going to go the short way. You're not going to go the long way. That way it makes it easier to get the air out, get better coverage.
Okay, so that's done. Quick, easy. Just remember to use the correct type of thin set for your application. We needed a modified thin set that conformed to ANSI A118.11 or better.